All good? Yes. All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. We're here to promote pure flour from Europe. The brand we're going to promote today is called Molino de Vita. Yeah, a good, strong flour, excellent for making pizza bases. In this case here, today we're going to make focaccia. So now focaccia is a bread that is commonly eaten in Italy, and you see in many restaurants also. You know, you can eat it with soup, you can eat it on its own. But traditionally, it's made. It takes a few hours to make it. Yeah? So normally, it's made. You know, it's a really soft or a slack dough, and it's left, you know, at ambient temperature for 20, 30 minutes. You know, to double in size, and then it's stretched and folded. You know, a few times, covered. You know, again is rested, and usually they do that 3, 4 times, sometimes 5 times. It depends. And the reason for this is number one. It develops flavor, you know, over time, you know, this amount of time, right? You know, the gases that are produced in there, gets flavor into the dough itself, and after baking the bread. Also, it conditions the gluten, develops the gluten, you know, and you get nice big air pockets inside also, so it looks, you know, quite nice. So here we are. I got most of my ingredients measured out. I'm just going to. I just need a little bit more flour. So I'll use this Semolina de Vita. I just need another 50, 60 grams. Yeah, top that up. And now I'm going to add my sugar, 25 grams of sugar, 15 grams of salt. And I'm just going to blend that first, just so when I add the water, you know that it mixes a little bit quicker. So, most important thing is the yeast. Yeah, very important. Even if I ferment the dough over time, you know, okay, it's such typical sourdoughs, you can ferment over time. But when you're making something like this in a short period of time, even though it's 2 hours, you definitely need yeast. Yeah. So, stop that. Add my yeast. So that is an active dry yeast. So an active dry yeast, you have to hydrate it with some water. And let it reconstitute. Now I'm going to add my water. So when you're adding water, now typical focaccia dough, you can absorb the water compared to the weight of the flour. So this way it becomes, this is why, I mean, typically 60% water to flour, you know, 70% is good. But if you want to do a real nice one, you can do up to 90% hydration. Excuse me. Now the important thing is not to add all the water at the same time. You want to add the water, let the dough develop. Yeah, the dough should be relatively firm. You know, let that mix so the gluten starts developing, and then any remainder of water you can slowly add it. Let that incorporate. Add it again a few minutes later. Let it incorporate, and then add the last bit in the end. Yeah. So here you can see, yeah, it looks pretty firm. Yeah. We're just going to continue. I'll add a little bit of water now. Yeah. Now, especially if you have strong flours, this will absorb a lot of water. So with this type of flour here, easily 90% hydration without any issues. Typical flours, you know, normal bread flour, patent flour, or even all-purpose flour, possibly can use, but it's not going to absorb the same amount of water. You know, to get the same firmness that we're going to achieve today, we can put 90% water by weight of flour. If you're using all-purpose, you know, it'll be a lot less. Patent flour or bread flour might be a little bit in between, but definitely a strong flour, even though maybe it's a little bit more expensive than normal flour, but you get a lot more water absorption, and in the end, more value. Yeah. So it's coming together slowly. I don't know if you can see that, but you can see that it looks starting to develop a little bit. It looks a little bit softer than it did before, but we're slowly going to add some more water. Now I'm only going medium speed here. With some of these small mixers, home mixers, when you're mixing small doughs and you mix at high speed, there's a lot of friction and a lot of heat buildup. So heat buildup is not good for dough. You want to keep it, relatively, close to ambient temperature, etc. For example, here I actually use chilled water. Especially these days, there's a bit of a heat wave going on. So using chilled water, even the flour, I put it in the fridge for a little while just to cool it down a little bit. Otherwise, once you add your yeast and you're resting it, it starts to move too quickly, and then in the end, then the flavors don't build properly. So there, you see, it's a little bit soft, a little bit softer than a traditional bread dough, but that's what we want. Yeah, medium speed, and also what's really important. Dough scraper. A baker's best friend, dough scraper. So when you're making dough like this here, also very important that you scrape down the sides. Yeah. Bakers and pastry chefs, for sure. You'll always see them with one of these. They'll fight over these. It's one of those things that's an essential but small piece of equipment. All right, so we're going to let that mix now. In a mixer like this, I'd say probably around 15 minutes, medium speed. Yeah. After a while, stop it every couple of minutes just to scrape down to the bottom. Double check to make sure that there's no flour that's trapped in the bottom. Some of these mixers, they don't reach all the way to the bottom. Although my Kenwood here is awesome. It's a very good machine. So I'm just going to reduce that and push it over to the side. Let that finish. Yeah. 15 minutes. Okay. So all night I was busy preparing, some doughs here because the fermentation takes a long time. If you want really good fermentation, it takes a good 2 hours, an hour and a half, 2 hours, or even longer. Now, you've seen the size of the dough that was in the bowl. It's quite small. This is the same recipe I did earlier. Yeah, look at it. It's like more than double, 3 times. So you can imagine the amount of air, the CO2 that's built up, to form all these air pockets. So now I already did it the folds. I did it thrice already, 3 times. Let it rest 30 minutes. Fold it carefully. Yeah. There's no use. Don't punch it down. Like I said, it's not like a typical dough. Yeah. You just want to fold it. Yeah. You're just stretching it, developing the gluten a little bit. Keeping those air pockets alive. So they keep building flavors, etc. So this is ready. I'm just going to very carefully. Oh yeah, you can really smell the gases, from the yeast. Fantastic. Look at that, fantastic. Eh? A lot of air. So I'm going to take part of this here and put it on a baking tray. We're going to bake it in the oven, and then we're going to cut portion and see what it tastes like. Well, I'm going to see what it tastes like. So, knife here, very carefully. Cut it in half. I'm going to take a little bit of olive oil myself. Yeah. Just so it doesn't stick in my hands because it's really quite soft. baking tray. Here we go. Just going to carefully lay it down. Just stretch it out a little bit. Yeah. Trying not to knock too much air out of it. Then I'm just going to dot it with some sun-dried tomatoes. How's my dough doing there? Perfect, yeah. Too big. There we go, just a few slivers, some olives. I've got these nice grilled ones I found in the deli the other day. Fantastic. They have a bit of a smoky flavor to them. It's quite nice. So I'm just going to dot that here and there as well. Then drizzle a little bit of olive oil on. And what I mean a little bit, I'm going to do Italian style. So a lot by North American standards. There we go. Olive oil is nice, you know, many different brands out there, but man, they all give a fantastic flavor. Yeah. There we go. A bit of rosemary, some sea salt here as well. Coarse sea salt. Fantastic. So I'm going to pop that into the oven. And that's going to take 15 minutes. 15 minutes at 175 degrees. So I have a fancy convection oven. No problem. You can do it in a home style oven. It's fine also. Maybe you take a little bowl, like a ceramic dish, put a little bit of water in, and just to keep a little bit of moisture in the oven. This will help. The bread bake nicely. So now that my hands are nicely seasoned in olive oil, I'm going to take a nice baked one that I prepared already. Yeah. So this is what it should look like after it's baked. Yeah, nicely golden brown. You'll see that you know, the olives, rosemary on the top, etc. Yeah. So I'm going to take this here. And cut this up. See that it's risen nicely. And if you look inside, you can see the nice grain structure that's there. Nice and light. Now, typical serving in Italy, you know, a lot of people love to serve focaccia bread just like that, just on the table before a meal, a snack, etc. Has a nice savory flavor to it, but at the same time, it's nice, nice and light before a meal. Can be served with a stew, etc. And yeah, wonderful. I'm just going to give it a try. Fantastic. Still a little bit warm. Amazing. Any questions? Please let me know. I'm glad to share my experience. Yes, Luca. No.
Can I use all-purpose flour?
All-purpose flour? You can use all-purpose flour. All-purpose flour has a little bit less gluten content, so you're not going to have that. Excuse me. you're not going to have the same strength. The reason why we use a high strength flour here is if we want nice big air pockets in it, you need something with a lot of protein, a lot of strength in it. It's going to keep that structure in place. All-purpose flour will work, but you won't get the same results. It'll be, the grains will be a little bit small. Hope that answers the question.
Another one. Can I substitute canola oil if I don't take olive oil?
Canola oil you can use. Sunflower oil you can use. I mean, oil is oil, but then again it's not. Sunflower oil, canola oils, they're quite neutral in flavor, whereas olive oil definitely has a good flavor to it. So I like to think food value, is a little bit better for olive oil. But most of all, it's going to be the flavor. Definitely the flavor. See, when you're doing the stretches and folds every 30 minutes, when you do that, you drizzle it with olive oil. After 30 minutes, you stretch it, fold it, drizzle more olive oil, cover it, etc. So all of that olive oil, gets penetrated into the dough, and in the end, it gives it a nice crust as well.
Very good. How many days will this year?
This year, if you keep it covered, 2-3 days, you can keep easily. Yeah, before it's pardon?
Outside of the time?
No, outside the fridge. Yeah. Bread never should be kept in the fridge.
Can I freeze the bread and release it?
Freeze the bread. Yeah, definitely. Once it's baked in a loaf form, you can let it cool down totally. Put it in a plastic bag, close it. Make sure there's no air that gets in or out. And you should be able to keep it for quite a while. I would say after about a month, you might get a little bit of a freezer burn or something like that. But try and use it within 30 days.
Great. No more questions. Very good.
No more questions? All right. Thank you, everybody, and have a good day.